Hello, folks. This is Kevin from Good Day, Good Prayers. You are watching K.W. Wayne's DSR Chads. We do the life story videos here on DSR Chads. Today we're going to move kind of sideways a little bit here on life, and we are going to talk about some things out of the Middle East, and then we're going to tie them together to other parts of the world. We see from a number of different writings as well as videos that in the Middle East there were 3 mountaintops that had been hit by some type of nuclear explosions. The way that they know that is because of the fact that there is glass on those particular mountaintops. And so that is how they are able to know that the sand became glass. Well, there are those kinds of things all over the world. Now, originally, most likely when those explosions took place was around the time when the Anunnaki were here. There really were no humans here per se, at least none that are indigenous to Earth. You would have to look at the Adam and Eve story in order to find the indigenous ones. But the children of Adam and Eve married humans, and those must have been humans from other groups, so that when the beginning of the indigenous people here on this planet took place, there were already humans here. Now, when we talk about indigenous to this planet, we're not talking about Native Americans or a native to whatever other continent. We are talking specifically of the beginning of the human race of the planet Earth. A lot of things happened from the time that those 3 explosions took place until Adam and Eve and their children were roaming the face of the earth. So there were a lot of people that came from other planets. Not all of them were humans. Some of them were beings that were not human beings. There is a definite difference for all of the beings. When you are talking about them taking blood tests, some of the people whose blood is drawn is not human indigenous to the planet Earth, but are actually humans from other places or beings from other places. So not all of them are human beings. And I would imagine there's probably some creatures as well. But we're going to be talking today specifically about the glass. The glass is very important because those first explosions were different than later explosions that took place on the face of the earth. Now, later on, and most likely when the indigenous natives were here on the planet that we, or the, excuse me, not the planet, but the continent that we are on right now, the America continent. There were different explosions that took place at that time, and I believe that there was a race of people that were from somewhere that came here with the express purpose of trying to get rid of the indigenous people. What caused the war, I don't know, and what caused the situation, I don't know. But the explosions that took place on this continent are actually different than the ones that that took place in the Middle East in the early part of Earth's history. So what happened here is that you had like a bullseye in the middle. It was all one color, but then you would have a layer coming out like a ring that would be a different color, and then there would be a third ring as you got further out from the explosion. And that was kind of interesting because it wasn't so much that way in the early explosions. But the glass was actually 3 different colors in a lot of these types of explosions. And I thought that was very interesting because the glass in the original explosions was one color, and the explosions inside of the bullseye, for the most part, were at least close to the same color as those original explosions. However, in those explosions, you wound up having rings that were other colors, which was very much unlike those original explosions. And that was very interesting. But as you start to research the rest of the planet, and you go to the other continents, and we're going to get it right this time, it sounds like, what you begin to see is that that same pattern is synonymous with a very large part of Earth. And so we know that there were many, many nuclear type or whatever types of explosions that took place in the early centuries, possibly even the early millennia of the life of Earth. And so there were a lot of people. We've heard that Earth was originally set up as a prison planet. We've heard that the Anunnaki came here, they kind of settled it, and then they started creating people, and as well as what you could only refer to as creatures. And all of these were here and were expected to be able to live together. It's also believed that there were human races from other planets that came here as well, which most likely has a lot to do with who Adam and Eve's children ultimately married. They wouldn't have married brother and sister most likely, but there must have been people here that they got to know, and they wound up marrying into those families from other planets. I would say most likely there was a lot of things that the ancient people or the early people knew that we simply do not, because it's been held from us. And I believe that part of the information that we are going to receive over the next 10 to 20 years is going to have a lot to do with the early periods and the early times of the planet Earth. So we have a situation where a lot of things have transpired here on the planet Earth. And all of the things that have transpired here on the planet Earth are very much an important part of who Earth is today and who we are today. So I believe that we need to take a further look at this, and most likely we will do 2 or 3, maybe 4 different videos on this. Probably not right now, but in the future we will do that. Please remember to give us a thumbs up. We would like you to subscribe to DSR Chats as well as Good Day, Good Prayers. We need subscribers on both. And please remember to watch the videos a little bit longer, because we need longevity in those videos. All of those things help the videos to get out to more people so more people can hear what we have to say. I believe that the information that we have, whether it's historical, whether it's spiritual, or whatever it is, I believe that it has an importance to get out to the masses. Now, I hope and I pray that each and every one of you will have a good day. Now, good day always begins with good prayers. And good prayers, we know they're good prayers when we reach the throne of God with those good prayers. So with that in mind, good day.